this, there are three different things I want to talk about first. Oh! Ah! Ah! Number one, let's talk about the directors for a sec. Back in 1999, they were brothers, but then somewhere along the line, the gender went from, I believe, male to female. What's that all about? That's very odd and strange. Number two, in the spring of 2020, in the high peak of the C-19 beer bug nonsense of times, I recorded myself performing one of Morpheus's quotes from the Matrix Reloaded movie. That's 1 minute long, and I'm going to put it for you at the top of the description box so you can catch me doing that back in the spring of 2020. It's a pretty cool and very memorized thing I did, and yeah, that's from 5 years ago. And number three, while there's so much that I like and appreciate about The Matrix Reloaded, the second movie in the franchise, I do not care for The Matrix Revolutions, Matrix 3. To me, that was a step down from the first two. And more recently, in the early 2020s, don't get me started on the woke garbage, a very awful thing that is The Matrix Resurrections. 3 and 4, especially 4 I don't like. 3 has a few things, but not a huge big fan of 3. But this is going to be all about why The Matrix Reloaded is worth checking out if you've never seen it, or it is worth a rewatch. And why, of all the sequels, it's the only one of the sequels that makes it to be worth catching or seeing or watching. But we're not going to be talking about the third or fourth movie. To them, that those really were not needed. With all that said, of those three things first, let's rewind the clocks back. It's the spring of 1999, and Star Wars The Phantom Menace is about to come out. And Austin Powers 2, The Spy Who Shagged Me, comes out in June of 1999. But at the end of March, beginning of April, the original classic, The Matrix. Again, why did the directors change their genders? What the hell is that all about? But I digress. The Matrix comes out. Now, The Matrix 1999 is one of those type of movies where it stands out on its own, it's complete as its own, and really no follow-ups would be necessary. Of course, since this was made for Hollywood, or Hollyweird, they of course wanted sequels, and the directors then signed on to have sequels come out back-to-back 4 years later, in 2003. Well, that first movie, again, really well done, really for well, I wouldn't say for the story, because the story is kind of like, with the whole energy and the certain parts of the story are a bit off, but the special effects, the action, and the music, and the movie itself, very watchable. That first one, very, like, it was quite a way to finish off the end of the 1990s. Speaking of which, real quick, Terminator 2, Judgment Day from 1991. In the story, the Terminator talks to the two human characters and says that Skynet will go online at the end of August 1997. In 1991, most regular people didn't even know what the online internet even was. But the way I can kind of understand is Terminator 2 takes place in 1995. 11 years out of the first Terminator. So since Terminator 2 takes place in 1995, in 95, people were more known of the online internet web in 95 as opposed to 91 when the movie was originally released. So that's how I can kind of connect how that could kind of make sense. But back to The Matrix 1. It was really well done, and it ends with Neo, after he gets out of the phone booth, which again is archaic dinosaur by this point now too. He flies up in the air, and then that whatever type of music plays. Great ending. Didn't need to have anything after that, right? Well, of course, now this, again, Matrix Reloaded is, in my opinion, the only sequel, the second one, the first sequel, not the third or fourth movie, the only sequel worthwhile. Pretend for a sec that the third and fourth aren't out there. And how does the second movie begin? It has a few old characters and new characters talking with each other about the whole Sentinels. And then about 4 to 5 minutes in, we got Neo fighting upgraded agents. But then, we don't really see much more happening until the 30-minute point. So after that first 4 to 5 minutes, I would say like 5 to 30 is a bit boring, a bit dull, not much going on there. But once you get to like 45, 50 minutes in, that's where some of the movie starts to pick up a little bit. So you got about 30 minutes in, you got an actual sex scene, S-E-X, with Neo and Trinity. They only kissed at the end of the first movie, but by 30 minutes into the second, they are, you know what, And like I said, Morpheus has a number of speeches in this movie, which I like about his character. He also has a love interest, who I won't get into, because I don't like the actress who plays her in real life. But he has his own little love interest, and he has his own little quotes. So again, I will insert for you at the top of the description box me performing one of Morpheus's Matrix Reloaded memorable quotes that I filmed back in the spring of 2020, C19 Bearbug High Point, for you to check out and hopefully enjoy. It's only 1 minute long, and I really memorized it, and I'm really proud of that work. So the movie returns from the first movie for the characters, Neo, Morpheus, Trinity, and Agent Smith. That's right, Agent Smith wasn't done off at the end of the first movie. He comes back in a way, like you could say he copies himself. And after he copies himself, well, that has one of the action scenes that are involved in the second movie, once he and Neo meet in that outside area. Speaking of that outside area, we'll have the second and last time of seeing the Oracle from the actual original first movie come back, but she didn't get to take part in the third movie Resurrections, because she died after her filming her scenes for the second movie. So they use a different actress in the third movie and kind of try to explain how that's into the story because of all that. But anyway, and so some of the characters introduced in the second movie that weren't in the first, I'm about to get into. But also I want to say, in the first movie, when Zion, their human city, was only mentioned, in the second movie, we see a whole experience of seeing all in and around of Zion, the city, and again, more of these extra human characters that are in Zion, which is, again, Zion very important to this whole thing. So some of the upcoming second movie characters. So we got the twins, the Ghost Twins. The Ghost Twins, they are very menacing. They are very strong and powerful in what they can do as the Ghost Twins. And they do a great job fighting Morpheus and Trinity. Then we have the Merovingian. I like his lines, how he talks to the main characters from the first movie, what he's all about here. Again, here in Reloaded. Don't care how he's used in Resurrections Part 4. kind of not. I don't even consider it part of the series. But so he's something else of a character, especially about how he talks about things to those characters. And then his wife in the movie is played by the beautiful, very beautiful, hot, and choose whatever adjective, Monica Bellucci. Monica Bellucci, who I could watch in anything. I like her here in Reloaded. I like her in Spectre, the 24th James Bond movie. I like her in most things. Not everything, but a lot of things. I like her a lot. And you can't go wrong with Monica Bellucci. So we got the Ghost Twins, the Merovingian, only in the second movie. Monica Bellucci as Monica Bellucci. Enough said. And there's also Seraph protects the Oracle. Yeah, Seraph protects the Oracle. There's an Indian guy that's briefly seen there near one of the Merovingian scenes, but then it's a blink or you miss it. But don't worry, he's seen a bit more in Resurrection. He's seen a bit more in the third one, Revolutions, and he has a daughter. I'm sure you know all this if you've seen it. Again, I only think the second one is worth seeing as far as the sequels are concerned. No 3, no 4, but this movie is actually, I think, what I like about it is it's got a more philosophical elements. It actually shows Zion. It has a few different action scenes that are really well done. You have Neo and Agent Smith fighting in the copies thing out there, and then you have Neo fighting the Merovingians' henchmen in that whole palace area, and then of course you have that chase scene that was done. That chase scene was really well done. How that was all made to be, and then let's talk about that new character introduced at the end of the movie. This is where it gets a bit confusing, a bit however you say, not really understandable, which is the Architect. The Architect is introduced here at the end of this second movie, and he talks with Neo, and it's a bit all over the place. We're not really sure what's going on, but that's okay. I thought it's there, so we kind of just have to go with it and try to learn about what that whole scene with the Architect is all about. So yeah, and the music, of course, is still the music of this franchise here. This movie is very ambitious. It's got a lot going on, and what I like is that it moves up the steps. Like upgrades like the Agent. It levels itself up to go further into the story. Where, even though the first movie could have been all that it is, and that was enough, that could have been enough. The adding on more story, more characters, more in depth, all kinds of all kinds of more information about what this is all about is really well done, and overall. It's definitely, I would say, rewatchable. It's definitely something that, I don't know how long this is going on for. I just want to make sure I get as many details and bits of things I want to say about this as possible before I start about to wrap it up. But this movie is... Okay, when is the best ever time to watch a movie? I've said this before, if you're paying attention. When is the best ever time to watch a movie? The answer being that very first initial time. Sure, you can watch a movie more than once, 2 to 1,000 millions of times, but the most impressionable, most kind of way that it's dealt with to watch any movie is that very first time, preferably without going online a few weeks before it, especially whatever kind of movie it could be. So, when I first saw this in May of 2003, that's when it came out, that first time, I was blown away and I really enjoyed myself. And it's worth repeat viewings. It's got a lot going on, but it's got the action, the action's really well made in it, and you got the other characters talking with the main characters from the first movie. And I just think, I just think that this movie, sometimes this movie gets a lot of hate, but I think of all the sequels, meaning 2, 3, and 4, Reloaded, Revolutions, and Resurrections, I believe Reloaded is a worthwhile sequel that some people don't give enough credit. And I think that it is, I think Reloaded, decades from now, will be more well-liked than how it was within those rest of those 2000s. I hear they might be rebooting Matrix or doing another sequel. I don't know if that would be worth it or not. We'll see what happens with that, but yeah. Directors change their gender. What the hell? What? Me doing the quote of Morpheus up at the top of their description box, and I just want to start to conclude and wrap this up and saying, oh, it shows a preview for the third movie at the end of the credits. So if you're still up for watching all the credits, at the very end of the credits, it shows the preview for the third movie, which while it's not as bad as the fourth one, Resurrections, it's got a few things all right with it, but still, to me, a step down from that first and second movie. Again, the first movie could have been on its own, complete, standalone, but what is put and in the effort of this second movie, in a number of the things that I mentioned, and probably a bunch of things that I forgot, this movie is something that should be watched again and should be talked about again. And I'm sure there's things I'm missing out about this movie that I forgot to say about this, but it's got a lot going on. It's about 2 hours and 18 minutes. It ends on a cliffhanger, but that's okay, because then the third movie came out 6 months later. And if this movie franchise is going to be brought up again after the fourth movie, which it most likely will, hopefully it's done with more care and more concern for the fans than whatever that trash BS nonsense was of four Resurrections in the early 2020s. I feel like I'm going to forget something. That's why at this point it might be a bit rambly, but if you've never seen The Matrix Reloaded, give it a shot. I think it's the only sequel worthwhile of it all. I think it's got a lot right, and while there might be, yeah, like I said, the first 30 minutes are a bit slow, but then it picks up by the 45-50 minute point. And I think I mentioned most of the fresh characters that introduced here that I wanted to. Sometimes it has a bit too many characters going on, but you know, you can't go wrong with Keanu Reeves. He always puts his heart into most of the stuff that he does. Though he should not have had a beard in the fourth movie at all. Neo is without a beard. That's why I did a shave my beard before this, so that I didn't have a beard in it. Because real Neo has no beard. And I would, if I had to grade or rate The Matrix Reloaded, I would give this a B+ or an 8 out of 10. And I feel like I'm forgetting something. So if there's anything I'm missing about this whole movie that was not talked about, please put that in the comment sections down below. And please tell me what your thoughts are on the Matrix franchise. And yeah, that's a bit all for now. I hope I got most of it all in there. And with all that said, support your local theater, support your local movie theater, AMC in my case, throughout the decade of the 2030s, which is just 5 years away now, throughout the 2030s, to watch a cinematic experience like no other, of directors, young and old, putting their vision out with a huge amount of strangers in seats at the big movies. Why? Because just streaming movies online at home is just not the same thing at all. It's just not. I don't know what I'll be talking about next in my next individual solo video, but I'll think about it in time. Hopefully it's worthwhile for you and you enjoy that too. And with all that said, everybody dance like the citizens did in Zion. Everybody dance and have a good time. This is Millennial Man Motions Entertainment, LLC. Signing out for now.